Hi, Harry. Good luck for the match.
Thank you.
You said a lot, don't panic, has been a message that's come across. There's a lot of young players in the squad who haven't got the experience you've got. Is this something that you personally as captain, is that the message you're personally giving it to them?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's part of the environment that we set as well. I think, like I touched on, everyone gets on really well. Everyone's always talking to each other, whether that's, playing darts or playing Uno or just with each other on the coach or whatever it may be. We have a good environment where, everyone talks honestly and openly. And I think whenever, you're talking in meetings or the manager's talking or Steve's talking, there's always good messages and messages that we've had throughout the years. And that's a big one, it's the reality of where we are, and that's 4 points after 2 games, which is, a decent start. And then there's obviously knowing that we can improve and get better. And I think for the newer players or the younger players, that's just kind of the environment they're in, and I think they catch on to that pretty quick. Excellent.
In terms of 7 hours with the family, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, the hotel's fantastic. Full credit to the guys and girls and from the FA of putting everything on. And we had a bit of everything in there. We got kind of the golf simulator, the football. We had, burger trucks. We had bouncy castles, everything. It was just a really good day, and it was a good chance for some of the families who ain't really met, or for the players to meet some of the other players' kids, etc. Because you hear about them, but obviously you don't always get to meet them. So I think we've done a really good job at that in not just this tournament, but other tournaments as well. Just making sure you have time to switch off and be with them, because they're a huge part, and of course you do miss them during long spells away. So it was a fun day, just maybe a little bit too long.
And finally, I don't know if you heard his podcast, but Gary Lineker had a word to describe England's performance in his podcast. Do you think it's helpful for somebody like him to describe it as on the eve of such a big game, particularly when you're top of the group with 4 points? And do you think maybe you should stick to flogging crisps?
No, look, I think it's always, I'd never want to be disrespectful to any player, especially, a player who's worn the shirt and knows what it's like to play for England. But, of course, I think what maybe ex-players or ex-players who are pundits now have got to realise is that it's very hard not to listen to it now, especially for some players who are not used to it, or some players who are new to the environment. So, I always feel like they have a responsibility. I know they've got to be honest and give their opinion, but also they have a responsibility of being an ex-player, an ex-England player that a lot of players looked up to, that, people do care about what they say and people do listen to them. So, like I touched on, everyone's got their opinion, but the bottom line is we haven't won nothing as a nation for a long, long time. And, a lot of these players were part of that as well, and they know how tough it is. So it's not digging anyone out, but it's just the reality that, they do know that it's tough to play in these major tournaments and tough to play for England. But, look, I'd never disrespect any ex-player. All I'd say is just, remember what it was like to wear the shirt, and that their words are listened to. And some of the lads, or I don't know how many of the lads, but you do hear it, and we all want to win a major tournament. I'm sure they want us to win a major tournament, and being as helpful as they can and building the lads up with confidence would be a much better way of going about it.
Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thanks, Jerry. A few quick ones on Ewan, and then we'll finish with Eric from Build. Just to your left-hand side there.
Hi, Harry.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask a bit more on that triple subs, where I know you covered that already, but did that show a different side to Gareth maybe that we haven't seen before to make such a sort of strong change at that point in the match?
Well, I don't know. I think, like I touched on there, I remember in the Euros, he'd done a similar thing against Scotland. I come off in the first game against Croatia in the Euros as well. So I don't think it's anything new. I think it's something that, the manager will make the right decision for the team. And I think he's proven that, over his whole time as the England manager. So, sometimes, you can read into things a little bit too much. There's players who are training really well. There's players who are, itching to get on the pitch, and that's part and parcel of major tournament football. There's going to be some players that don't play. There's going to be some players that come on, and the team that starts the first game is not always the team that ends up starting the games later on in the competition. So yeah, like I said, I wouldn't read too much into it. It might happen again, it might not. The manager, each game is different. Him and Steve and the staff will just try and make the best decisions in those moments.
I know you've talked a bit about dropping deep versus staying further up, but what's it been like? How's your role changed with having guys like Saka, Bellingham, Foden, Trent behind you? Does that sort of change your role, having that level of talent?
I'm not too sure. I think obviously I played with those players for quite a long time now with England. Obviously, yeah, I feel like I've got a good relationship with all those players. We just probably haven't, done well enough in the 2 games to show it yet. But I think, especially in past tournaments, in qualifying, we've shown what we can do when we're all on the same page. But again, it's a game of football. You're not always going to be perfect. You're not always going to get it right. You're not always going to, be switched on in every moment of every game. But I think with all of the players and all of us, we try and work on it. We try and train on it. We try and see, okay, he's doing this. Can this help him? And we all try and help each other. And we're all fantastic players. So it's just about how can we get the best out of everyone. And I think that's what we all try and do.
Cheers. And then finish with Eric.
Nice. Hi, Harry. Eric Peters, Build Germany. So how important is it for you to feel supported by your family during the Euros, especially when there is a lot of criticism?
Yeah, I think family and friends are, really important. Just to, of course, they always support you. They always back you. But they're a big part of your life. Of course, during a normal season, you get to go home. You see them every day, and of course, you go away for away games. But it's never normally longer than a couple of days that you don't see them for. And tournament football is different. You have to spend a lot of time away from them, which is not easy, especially with young kids. A lot of the lads have got young kids, and you miss them. But that's a sacrifice we make, and you make to play in these tournaments. And I think you try and keep in touch as much as possible. I always talk about making sure you have people to talk to, and family are a big part of that. And I'm lucky enough to have great people around me, and they're always there to support me.
Then a question regarding your club, Bayern Munich. So how do you see the signing of Vincent Kompany as your new manager? And has there been any contact so far?
Yeah, so he phoned me, after it got announced, and just more to catch up and introduce himself. Obviously, before the tournament, he knows I'm focused on England and focused on the Euros, but he just wanted to reach out and kind of ask my opinion on kind of last season and how I've felt since I've been here. And he just gave me a bit of background on what he liked to do and how he likes to play. And it was only a short 10-minute conversation, but it's more just an introduction. So of course at the moment I'm focused on England, but I'm sure once I'm back at Bayern it'll be great to start the pre-season and get some new ideas from him and see how he wants to play and see his vision for the season ahead. And as always, I'm always learning from different coaches, different managers, and I'm sure I will from him as well.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.